I like you mentioned, 50-50 I think is a good way to put it with him because as Matt pointed out on Twitter, it was actually people were very it was a very polarizing performance for people to see what Camavinga was doing on the field. And in Slack, Matt was like sending us tweets of like, am I missing something? Like, was Camavinga really that good, or was he really this bad? And it's like, I think to me, so for me, I have a pretty long leash with Camavinga because he's young, he's super talented, he's still raw, he's learning the ropes. He hasn't played that much this season to get into rhythm. He's been thrown into a game like this. Like if he, and revisiting some of the past Camavinga performances, he never had a consistent role. It was almost like he was playing a different role every time he appeared early on in the season. And now he's playing as a single anchor, which I'm not sure he is either. I actually don't think he is. I don't think he's necessarily suited to that role as his best position. So here's some of the good and here's some of the bad. I think, he had spectacular tackles in this game. I think one of them was like a borderline foul, but even still, it was spectacular. I think he had a game high. Let me just check. I don't know if it was. I checked this like some point or there. Yeah, he had a game high 6 tackles by the end of it. But positionally, and this goes like to the famous Xabi Alonso quote, where it's like if you don't need to tackle if you're positioned properly. That's not always the case. I think that quote gets misused often, but I think part of the problem that we saw after we went up 2-0, Athletic were getting behind our midfield a lot. And I thought particularly Camavinga and Cruz were letting runners in behind them and not clogging the passing lanes to those outlets. You saw it on the goal. The Sunset goal was brilliant. Sunset was, I thought, really good in this game, by the way, from an Athletic point of view. Gave us all kinds of problems. Was a line breaker, was killing us with his off-ball movement, was setting his teammates up, scored a brilliant goal. So I think that was one problem, was we were leaving those outlets way too free behind Camavinga and Cruz. But the other thing with, again, it really was a mixed bag with him. Like, he did really good work in zone 14 at times when he had to close a shot down or close somebody down. He also, from a statistical standpoint, had a pretty good passing game. And if you look at that, the eye test tells us like, he was decently comfortable under pressure. I think there were a couple maybe panic moments, but generally speaking, he's good at dribbling his way out of a tight spot. He had 9 out of 10 long balls today. All that was good. I think one of the criticisms I continue to have of him is that he's a very safe passer. And I think in that first half, you needed to get the ball vertically much quicker in transition than you were. And I think Modric would have helped you in that situation. And by the way, you could really feel the absence of Modric in this game, right? When in this kind of game, he just chills his blood and he just gives the team calmness. Like you really just miss his presence.
Yep, there is a Luka Modric fan account and Twitter. I was just reading this tweet. It says, "I understand why Ancelotti always uses Modric and replaces him even if he is dying. I really understand." So with the midfield dynamic with Modric, Casemiro, and Cruz has set the bar so high. Even if a different set of midfielders are doing well, you're not gonna find that much fun into it, because like Modric and Cruz especially have spoiled us so much. But yeah, I was missing Luka Modric so much, especially on the right hand side, because he makes things. He not only does things himself, he makes his teammates do nice things as well on that right around that right half space with those runs in behind defenders, and even with those cutbacks. All of that was obviously absent today. So yeah, really best Luka Modric big time.